Good evening, everybody.
And we're done. Congratulations. We just started a brand new episode and we don't even know how to begin. Taylor, welcome back. Episode, I think, 65 after 2 years of a
Yeah,
sabbatical. It's good to be back. How's it going?
it's going good. It's good to be back with you as well.
I feel like it's, I don't know. I feel like the Lionel Richie song, Hello, is it me you're looking for? I could see it in your. And then you were quoting some P. Diddy song earlier that I didn't know exactly why you would bring that up. It didn't make
No, I
sense.
was not quoting any P. Diddy.
What was that white party you wanted to throw at Walt Disney World next time you went after
Nope,
Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween?
nope, nope.
No, no white party. Okay, but no, I'm not gonna freak you out or do any kind of freak off type thing you were talking about. But no, what is the latest with you? We have been busy. What's been happening in your neck of the woods?
Nothing much. Just getting ready to go to Disney World in October, October 25th. 1 month from today.
Oh, hey, how about that?
How about that? I'm
That's
very
exciting,
excited.
man. Very
Yeah.
cool.
We've got every place we want to eat down.
Yep. Do you have a new place that you're
Yes,
eating?
we've got a couple new places.
Where?
Let me read them to you if you don't mind.
Okay, please.
I know this cuts into our time limit, but
Time limit starts when we actually start the topic.
Okay, good. Boma. We're going to Boma
Yeah.
for breakfast.
Cool.
We're going there on Saturday when we get down, or Friday we get down there. Saturday we're going to Boma. Sunday we're going to the Edison. Saturday night we're going to the Edison for dinner.
Yes.
Then we're going to Hollywood and Vine for breakfast on Sunday.
Have you done that before?
No, the Phantasmic VIP dining.
Oh, even better. Okay, cool. Nice.
Then on Monday, we're going to Le Cellier for dinner.
And you've been there, right?
No, I've never been there.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be number one. That is one.
I'm super excited about that.
Get the elk. Get the elk loin. It is, traditional steak, and you can't go wrong with anything there. But get their poutine. Get their seasonal poutine and the elk loin. It is, but anything you get is going to be off the charts.
I'm probably gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna get a fillet.
You should. No. I'm just. Last time, I've been twice in the past 3 years.
I'm not adventurous like you.
You're what again?
I'm not adventurous like you. I don't look like a lumberjack or anything.
Well, I can't help but hold up certain ends of the, podcast. I cater to the bear side of things.
I got you.
But anyway.
Then we're going to Mama Melrose on Tuesday because I have a feeling that it will probably be not be there anymore.
Good point.
Wednesday's VIP.
Nice.
Thursday, Ohana for breakfast.
Really? You've done Ohana. You've never been to Ohana.
Never been.
Man, neither have I. I've heard nothing but good things. But I've heard that dinner, lunch, especially dinner, is the way to do it because of the Ohana. But no, breakfast, you can get that Ohana bread, the bread service. So that sounds good. But I'm listening.
And Friday we have Topolino's character breakfast for lunch, or no, for breakfast.
Breakfast. Okay.
And then the Boathouse for dinner.
Oh, that's a good day right there.
Thursday we have the Halloween party on Halloween.
You are going to have yourself a time. Are you going with the regular Motley Crew or any new additions, or?
We're going with the Motley Crew, and we're dressing up as Encanto.
You mentioned that to me, I think last week. That's exciting.
So I'm Bruno. I've got the garb. I just got to get the wig.
Okay.
Wellesley is Isabella. Charlie is Maribel.
Makes sense.
Wig and glasses.
Round frame. Yes, perfect.
Yes, she looks tore up from the floor up. Caitlin is going to be Peppa. Lynn is going to be Louisa.
Okay.
And then my mom is going to be Dolores.
Dolores. I like it. Cool.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that when y'all dress up, y'all get into character, y'all go all out, and that's the way to do it. That's awesome. I'm excited for y'all. I'm a little jealous. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous, but no, seriously, that I know y'all are looking forward to it.
I'm very
hearing about all all the highs of that trip, because there will be no lows. You've had kind of a hit or miss experiences the past few times at Disney.
I'm just hoping and praying
Yeah,
that we don't have a hurricane.
and I would never wish that upon you. I'm 1 for 1 with that. I wish to be 1 for 2.
Thanks, I really appreciate
That's
that.
not going to happen. That's awesome. And I'm glad you asked me about what's next and hey, what's new in your neck of the woods? Because I mean, I asked you.
I was getting ready to.
Okay, you're looking at your phone. That's fine.
But
But no, I'm not kidding. That's incredibly rude. But no, yeah, October 14th is exactly 75 days ish before our cruise. No, the timing's not right. Regardless, 90-ish day. No, 75 days before our cruise. I think 80 something days, whatever. Either way, that is the first day that we can start booking excursions. We can start booking experiences on the Disney Treasure. Okay. We have completely paid for the trip, just paid off the gratuities through a specific company. There's a certain travel company that we're working with, and I can't think of the name of it. What is it? Imagination something. Imagination Travel.
Imagination Vacations Travel Company?
I think that's right. And so far, my experience has been magical.
Well, I'm glad.
It
We
has.
only strive for the best.
Molly has taken care of us. She's been on top of things. Communication's been key. The series of emails that she has sent me and my family have made it easy. She has given us advice on.
Good?
Say it again.
Aren't they good emails?
They're great emails.
Yeah.
I was expecting a little more information instead of just like a thumbs up emoji at the very top and some kind of automated like copy paste. I'm kidding. No. The information from what's the name of that company again? Imagination
Vacations Travel Company.
Imagination Vacation Travels Company.
IVTC.
IVTC. Intravenous
Translucent
testicular cells. But no, we've gotten emails about the breakdown, and not only do we get a breakdown of like, hey, this is what to expect in regards to embarking. These are the different options if you're looking for travel to and from, logistics, international documentation that you're going to need, recommended times, pros, cons, what to be wary of. Stay close to the boat or book through them, aka through the Walt Disney World Disney Cruise Lines or through Disney Cruise Lines, not go through a third-party service. But if you do plan to go that way, know what the risks are involved, right? And so I've got all of that in my email, saved in a priority folder, and October 14th cannot come soon enough. We travel down. I think the day after December, we're going to surprise the kids with a trip down there because we're going to go a day early and go to, we don't know what park, but we're staying at Art of Animation in a Lion King.
Park?
Say it again.
You don't know what park?
We're going to let the kids decide the day of. We were thinking Animal Kingdom, but because I know they're going to have less offerings, Dino Land, I'm assuming at that point, is going to be, blocked off, under construction. They're going to begin those initial stages of, sorry, Dino Institute, dinosaur over your right shoulder. If you want to earmuff it with those internal ears that dinosaur has, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't know if Animal Kingdom is going to be the case. So, but we'll see. Yeah. But beyond that, we're excited. 7-day cruise. We've been looking at the itinerary. Finally, I can officially look at the days. And I'm going to get into that real quick, if you don't mind me telling you what the itinerary is going to be.
I actually do want to.
Got you. Because yet again, it shows you, and I didn't know exactly how it was going to work, what locations or what ports we were going to go to first. But here we go. It is loading. But My youngest son, Mason, is incredibly excited. Can't wait. I'm looking at the itinerary. Here it is. All right. Day one, we ship departure 3:45 on December 28th at Port Canaveral. All right. Ship departure. That's day one. Day two is a day at sea. Okay. And it says here you have no planned activities on this day. So yet again, October 14th is when we can start planning those on-ship experiences. Absolutely. And what those are, I'm not sure yet. I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I know that some of the experiences that they have in that sense, maybe some of the theme, like I know it's like a pirate night, things like that. I don't know if that's going to be the case on the Disney Treasure because it's a sister ship of the Disney Wish. But day two at sea, day three is our first port. That's going to be at the Yucatan Cozumel, the island right next to Mexico right there. And it gives you the time you go ashore when you
believe Mexico back on the boat. Cozumel are the same place. Cozumel, Mexico.
Say it again.
Cozumel is in Mexico, but
yeah, I may have said that, but that's okay. Whether you're listening or not. But no, day four, we arrive at Georgetown, Grand Cayman. Day five, and it's boom, 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 3 days in a row, 3 different destinations. Then we get to Falmouth, Jamaica. And then day 6, we have a day at sea. And then day 7, we turn the corner in the Bahamas and go to Disney's Castaway Key K, Tomato Tomata. And day 8, debarkation day. We have to get on that boat off the boat at 7:30 a.m. So that's going to be a rough morning. Yeah, the walk of shame, I tell you, man. But yeah, we're there's a lot of stuff that we are both looking forward to, excited about, and a lot of podcasts to come, breaking down our experiences, what we expect, what we can plan for. I don't know all those options. Yeah, and especially yours, because you're doing a lot of new things. Even though you're kind of like landlocked, I get to venture out to different exotic locations and represent you and me as a whole, because you'll be there in spirit. I'll take like a flat Stanley kind of thing, like a.
You should. I'm gonna do that. That's what. Actually, you really should. I did that with Caitlin one time.
Where did you take Caitlin?
On a cruise. Flat Caitlin did.
Flat Caitlin did. That. Yeah. Okay. Where did she? What was the most exotic location? Flat, and Caitlin got to trouble. Say it again.
Grand Cayman.
Grand Cayman. Okay.
Grand Cayman. I took her actually to Hell. There's a place called Hell in Grand Cayman.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Is that going to be near the port that we're going to? Is that a place that's near the main port, or is it like a different location, like an excursion you have to book ahead of time? Probably
take an Uber to it. It's pretty cool.
Okay, I've heard about it. Send a postcard from Hell, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool. All right, my friend. Let us get into it.
Let's get into it.
Is there any unfinished business on your end of things before I hit that timer?
I don't believe
minutes. You don't think so? We've tied up all those loose ends. Got you. I know it's been a while, but we did say maybe like 2 podcasts ago, 5 months ago, last time we recorded. Actually, it was August. You know that, right? August, for crying out loud. Beginning of August.
Yeah.
No, whatever. But either way, we're going to try and attempt to give our Disney Dudes podcast best in 30 minutes or less. And we're going to hit that timer in 3, 2, 1. And we are under the gun. Tonight's topic is all about the Disney Access Service Pass, the DAS Pass, right? They made changes back in April, and people weren't too sure exactly what those changes were all about.
Yeah.
But before we get into any of the controversy, let's break down exactly what the DAS Pass, or what the DAS is all about. The Disability Access Service. Okay.
Abbott, what is it all about?
That's a great question, Taylor. I don't know how you naturally came up with that question, but you're really good at this. Spontaneity is the key. But here, accommodating guests, specifically with disabilities, right? Both visible, invisible, physical, mental, right? You would assume that would be the case, because I don't know if you know this. I assume you do, but if you don't, 100% of the population can be diagnosed with a disability, whether that is temporary, episodic, chronic. It doesn't matter, okay? And if you think you don't have a disability, you more than likely do. Okay,
Yeah.
because everybody has some form of that, even
Right.
a temporary energy or an injury, right? Could be a disability. So
Exactly.
that being the case, what to know about the DAS? It's intended to accommodate only those guests who, due to a developmental disability like autism or similar disorder, are unable to wait in a conventional queue for an extended period of time. DAS doesn't provide immediate access to experiences, but rather allows guests to request a return time for a specific experience. That is comparable to the current standby wait. Okay? And to round it out, the guest for which DAS is being requested must be present during registration and must experience the attraction when redeeming a DAS return time at Walt Disney World theme parks. Thanks for sending me that text. If you asked your mom that question, you're not wrong. So,
Oh gosh.
so based on that,
Yeah.
people want to know what in the world are we talking about in regards to what the DAS pass is intended for, because the disability accessibility service pass used to encompass almost every
Why?
disability, a
Yeah.
wide array, a spectrum, so to speak.
And
In
go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
No,
no, no,
go ahead.
no. I'm listening. You had a spontaneous idea. I need to hear it.
No, I mean, from what I've heard and seen
Yes.
recently, people that actually have disabilities,
Yes.
legitimately,
Mhm.
legitimate cases for disabilities, are
Sure.
now getting turned down
Sure.
because of the way that people have rigged and tried to beat the system,
Hmm. Sure.
and it's shitty.
Yes. Now, yet again, because everything here is covered by the ADA, we're
Yeah.
talking Title III. Okay. And Title III under the ADA is specifically for public accommodations or commercial entities.
Yeah.
Okay. Hence theme parks. Okay. Commercial entities. All right. Now, ADA is yet again, it is a civil rights um, piece of legislation. And it says that individuals, even if you identify as a disability, you don't have to actually show documentation to prove, because that could be a burden put on the
Right.
person, right? So that being said, a person cannot be forced to disclose the information. If they identify as an individual with a disability, then they have a disability, and
Yeah.
they're automatically part of a protected class, which is the ADA. They cannot be discriminated against because of their disability, right? So let's get into that. And yet again, from the get-go, I have pause for concern, because it says the DAS is intended to accommodate only those guests who, due to a developmental disability like autism or similar disorder, are unable to wait in a conventional queue for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Okay. And now you could compare that to accessibility, right? What about wheelchairs? What about scooters, electric scooters, those hover rounds, whatever, like the things that have taken over
Yeah.
Walt Disney World? I mean, believe me, I've had quite a few negative encounters with people cutting me off, but there is a specific reason for that, right? It's not my reason. It's not my place to know. But at the same time, I am an individual that has to deal with, my son who actually has autism. I've dealt with his autism since almost literally the day he was born, right? His development was delayed. He did not start talking vocally like other children, okay? He's always had some type of social deficit, okay? And honestly, my son's form of autism, he's almost 16 now. He's about 5'11". He's about 6 feet now, but that's besides the point. Huge. He's huge. But anyway, besides the point, when I read this and I think about my son, this is cut and dry, exactly what he would need at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's one of those where we've gone to Walt Disney World. I can't count the number of times at this point with Bray, with my oldest son. And he's really never had a problem, right? He's never really had a problem because we do things that he wants to do. And if he wants to take a break, then that's fine. Okay. Now, yet again, people can pick and choose what they feel is necessary for them based on said disability. But off the bat, this language, like autism or similar developmental disability, you're pretty much painting yourself in a corner.
Yeah.
Okay. you from the get-go when you read that, you're thinking, I have PTSD. These loud noises, something could trigger. I could have a panic attack, whatever that situation is. And we could sit here and, literally compare apples and oranges, because yet again, when it comes to PTSD, anxiety, it's so episodic. It's so hit or miss. You just never know what's going to trigger something, because you can go for a long period of time and not experience any symptoms.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it could come out of nowhere. It can precipitate something, could exacerbate that, no matter what the situation, no matter what the context. But yet again, the language is too vague, and you are putting shackles on this. You are narrowing the focus, and you are shining a light. And yes, people can, different pundits that might, kind of chime in on this, because yes, autism, I don't mind telling you this, ASD or autism spectrum disorder is probably, I hate to put it this way, but coming from a person that spent the better part of 14 years specializing and working with individuals with ASD, I'll tell you this much. It really is kind of the trendy disability.
Yeah.
It really is that's more and more individuals are being diagnosed with ASD.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel like with the DAS, they need to have different tiers?
That's a good question. But yet again, that's going to be eliminated by what they already have up to code, according to Title III. And yet again, from an accessibility standpoint, because they will tell you, well, you know what? It's your choice. Okay. And it's based upon what are deemed reasonable accommodations. Okay. And there's no one set formula when it comes to determining what a person qualifies for, accommodation wise. Right. So here, this is specifically for waiting in line.
Yeah.
And they are literally shining a light on exactly what their issue was, and people, like you said initially, abusing the system.
Taking advantage of it.
And I mean, I get it, right? We don't like waiting in line.
Yeah. Well, all right, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So with Bray, does he ride the bigger rides?
Depends on the day. Sometimes he surprises me, but normally he likes to stick to, the slow, dark rides.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, absolutely not. He has ridden. He enjoyed Gardens of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind. He enjoyed that. It took him a little while to kind of get his scruples together after that ride. But honestly, he said to me real subtly, "Dad, that was awesome." I'm like, I told you, I knew it. That's fine. And I don't treat him any differently, but at the same time, I'm very aware of what he's more than likely going to choose to do and what he's not going to choose to do.
Yeah.
So yet again, Disney can spin it based on, well, you don't have to do that.
Well,
You don't have to do that. So therefore, based on choice, we don't have to necessarily accommodate that, because it's your choice. And yet again, is it reasonable for you to make a choice or not? That's yet again up to you,
Yeah. So if he likes the slow, dark rides, I'm all with. If he ever wants to ride Spaceship Earth, count me in.
Oh, that's his jam. Any kind of ride that he loves. I mean, you talk about the classics, Small World. The noise is a little loud.
But Haunted Mansion, is that too loud? Or?
Haunted Mansion, no. It's in those large spaces where the sounds just kind of bounce, or just kind of echo and bellow, and it can be stimulation overload. He does have some auditory sensory sensitivity, but that's if he's already anxious to begin with.
Okay,
if he doesn't know what's happening next.
How about Figment?
He would die for Figment. He would sacrifice everything to ride Journey to Imagination again.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He loves slow rides. Any kind of roller coaster, anything that he knows, like Tower of Terror, hilarious. Yeah, he's like, Dad, you're kidding me, right? Any kind of roller coaster, he's not going to. He'll ride Slinky Dog Dash. He's done that a couple times. Prefers not to. That's just not his thing. That's neither here nor there. That's based on the individual's choice, right? Yeah. But he really doesn't have an issue, having to wait in line, because the rides that we normally ride don't have that long of a queue.
All right, so
take advantage of the DAS pass.
The DAS pass, is that for every single ride?
Yes, it counts for every single ride. It does not
Even the
matter.
big rides.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. You get a callback time. It's like you get a virtual queue for any ride.
Jeez.
So what you do with a DAS pass, right? You qualify for it. And yet again, the language says, and you heard me read it, developmental disabilities like autism.
Yeah.
Like autism. No, yet again, that's a good bit of gray area. And for someone that doesn't necessarily know what actually fits under the umbrella of a developmental disability, sure, autism spectrum disorder, it is a neurodevelopmental disability, right? Got you. But what disabilities may qualify for DAS at Walt Disney World or Disneyland? Because when they made the change, it's for the North American parks, okay, or the parks in the United States.
Are we gonna list them?
Well, it's not much. It's not much, okay?
Really?
But some no, it is not. It basically it pretty much narrows down what it could be, okay? And so what disabilities may qualify? So it says here, it says a wide range of conditions may be eligible as DAS passes are issued to assist guests who cannot tolerate waiting in conventional standby queues at select attractions across Walt Disney World. But yet again, that's all attractions, okay? But normally high wait time attractions. I'm glad you're staying awake and hanging in there. But there are a few considerations. Sure, just say it and we all believe it. Here are a few considerations when determining whether you or someone in your party may have a condition that qualifies for the current change in the DAS pass, right? What disabilities may qualify for DAS at Walt Disney World or Disneyland? Disorders that make waiting for extended periods in the standby queue difficult. That can be a lot. And we've already kind of covered that a little bit. That's a lot. And that could be almost anything. Cognitive disorders that make staying in line a challenge.
Okay.
That's a lot as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Disabilities that don't qualify for DAS. Mobility restrictions. Okay. Why? Because all the rides are already accessible. Okay. They have to be designed as accessible. They have to be up to code. Title 3 of the ADA.
All right, I understand that. But if someone has
Yes.
an amputated leg
Mm-hmm.
and they're in a wheelchair
Mm-hmm.
and they have to get up and walk crutches in a line,
Mm-hmm.
that's not DAS.
That is not DAS. That's part of it. You're right. That's part of the change. And this is the gray area in there. They are limiting it to individuals with mental disabilities. Okay. Mental disabilities.
How can they? All right, I understand, but
yes,
it's almost like how can they do that because they're opening up everything for like lawsuit. I think
you are getting into you're almost segueing into what's next. Okay, you're almost segueing into what's next. We're about halfway through our allotted time for the topic. All right, about 15 and a half minutes. We're doing well.
Why I was going.
Perfect. But in this situation, one may ask, well, we mentioned mental disabilities, we mentioned developmental disabilities. Yet again, we can describe it many different ways, but what specific disabilities could potentially, yet again, may or may not qualify, but what is assumed in that gray area, right? Some of the disabilities you would consider would be ADHD, type 1, 2, or combined type, right? Maybe auditory processing disorder.
Yeah.
And I'm really having to rack my brain because yet again, but it's only a few disorders that you can kind of qualify within a developmental disability. So we're talking ADHD, type 1, 2, combined type, autism spectrum disorder, right? And then also maybe various types of anxiety disorders or just GAD or generalized anxiety disorder. And that could be, that's opening the floodgates for a whole wide array of anxiety. Yes. TBI, traumatic brain injury. Yep. But specifically,
I didn't even think about that one. Yep.
Yep. So thinking about that in these mental disabilities, these developmental disabilities, okay? They're only providing it based on that one situation. waiting in line. Okay. But what does that translate as? They got sick and tired of people abusing the system because they were losing money.
It's all about this. It's all about this.
Losing money. Yep. And when you're talking about lawsuits, you're talking about this. Imagine something. Disabled Disney guests demand action after DAS program changes, right? So an individual, she's been a lover of Disney since she was a kid, right? Since she was a kid, and being diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare nerve-damaging disorder in 2018 when she was diagnosed, changed the way she experienced the parks. Did she ask for this? No, she did not.
No.
For whatever reason, I'm not going to go into the research as what could be the contributing factors. Is it hereditary? Is it this? It is hereditary. But a recent overhaul.
Guillain-Barré?
Yeah. And it says...
How do you pronounce it?
Guillain-Barré. Guillain-Barré. A recent
I
overhaul.
You said Guillain-Barré. Guillain-Barré.
If you're making fun of my son's name, the son that has autism, his name is Bray. That's very offensive, and I would not.
Not what I was doing.
But that's okay. You're.
You know what brings it upon? You know what? You know what's another thing that brings it on?
What?
Pregnancy.
There we go.
Pregnancy.
You have to get
sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you get tested for it when you are pregnant. You take that blood test. So, but it says here a recent overhaul that we've been discussing of Disney's policies for guests with disabilities is changing it again. She said, I was recently denied the DAS pass here at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. And she's a magic key holder, which is their version of an annual pass. And she said that in a video, in a video that was shared 1.7 million times, that she was denied. Because yet again, she said she no longer qualifies for this pass because apparently she can wait in line. And if she can't wait in line, then she needs to plan better ahead of time, is what they're saying. You know?
Then I would plan to not go to Disney World.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot here. I mean, just looking at all this, it's controversial. And it says what qualifies. We've covered that. But here are some of the situations that you were talking about. What other accommodations are already available for individuals that don't fall under these, developmental disabilities that we've discussed? Accommodations includes, but are not limited to, American Sign Language interpretation or ASL interpreters, Disney handheld devices that provide captions and visual descriptions for guests with hearing impairment, Braille guidebooks and maps, sensory guides for attractions, like the new Smell-O-Vision, those elephants, the smell at a Storybook Circus, as an example, but I've heard that's kind of hit or miss. Location return times for guests with mobility devices or other physical needs that can't be accommodated by older non-wheelchair accessible attraction queues. Some guests, like this individual we're talking about, they're allowing them to briefly step out of a standby queue and rejoin their party when needed. But every attraction has a defined process to support this option based on a person's disability while the rest of the party remains in the queue. Guests are directed to speak to cast members at each attraction for specific details. Okay? Think about that. So I have a disability. I have this disability that we just described. Okay?
Yeah.
I have to go repeat myself, and I'm trying to be as discreet as possible, but I have to have a conversation ahead of time with a cast member that's probably not trained. Now, that is an assumption, and I guarantee the type of training they receive for this type of situation to confront an individual with a disability is minimal at best, right? Is minimal at best.
I'd probably say it's not even minimal. Like it's how can it be?
I have a disability. I have a disability, and I'm being forced to talk with a cast member at that ride. So I had to get out of line.
And the cast member
talk to the cast member.
As you just said, the cast member probably doesn't know jack about the disability.
Yep.
And how can the ADA not do anything about that? Even though the ride is ADA compliant, the necessary steps that I would assume but you know what assuming does.
Yeah, I do, and you know that more than other people based on your history, or at least college. But we can't talk about that. UV gay. No, for this situation, for you,
3-1.
Same for both. Yeah, we're 3-1.
South Carolina is?
Yes, we're 3-1.
I thought y'all lost last weekend.
No, we beat Akron 50-7.
Oh, nice.
It's okay. It's okay. The refs made sure we lost to LSU, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, regardless of that, thanks for keeping me on track.
Yeah.
But with that being the case, what creates change with the ADA? What creates change? A precedent, a lawsuit. A lawsuit creates change. Okay, and yet again, that takes years upon years upon years.
Yeah.
You have to have a collection of people that come together to.
That's what I was going to say. It's got to be more than one person.
It's going to be, yet again, class action. Yep. So that's going to take time. Here's another example. Here's one. Yeah, here's a really good one. Okay. This might kind of stir you up a little bit. And let's take a look at time. We got 7 minutes. We're doing pretty good. Here it is. Here we go. This individual, she said she was shocked to learn that she no longer qualified for the Disability Access Service, right? She recalled a cast member telling her, "You weren't denied the DAS. You were provided other accommodations, and it's up to you to take it." Going right back to the decision. Here it is. You ready? So she had to go up to a cast member, right? I'm not going to give the name because people can do their own research, but this individual had to go up to a cast member to find out what her accommodation options were based on her disability. And that's where she has to go, this is my disability. This is how it currently affects me. This is the impact, okay? When it comes to determining accommodations, we have to find out not what the history was, what is the current level of impact.
It's almost it's almost like Disney needs you running.
Hilarious.
No, what you're doing at your job right now for the parks and for the rides.
It would be, that would be something I'd be open to on the side. But regardless, you have to know currently what is the current impact of the disability, and does it rise to the level that requires an accommodation? And accommodations are defined as what is called reasonable. Is it reasonable for you to have to wait an extra 25 minutes in line to be accommodated? I think that's pretty reasonable and pretty obvious based on the disability, right? This is, you are flirting, you are sniffing, you are playing with fire and with lawsuits in this situation. You mean I have to go to, I want to ride the Matterhorn. She's at Disneyland. I want to ride the Matterhorn. I want to ride the Incredicoaster. I want to ride whatever the classic Disneyland rides are, right?
Yeah.
And I have to go to every cast member and say, look at me. Look at me. That's very uncomfortable. I can't imagine what that's like. That's embarrassing. That's humiliating. And to have to repeat myself and explain my situation over and over at the most magical place on earth, right? Because Disneyland is,
yeah. It's almost like, because you're getting embarrassed with one disability, it's causing you to have the anxious aspect, which would allow you to have the DAS.
Okay. You are poking holes in the system and you are strategizing. This is why you get paid the big bucks for the podcast. But listen to this. Guess what the cast member offered her?
What?
She said you were provided other accommodations, whether she knew that or not, that's besides the point. And it's up to you to take it. You know, if you have an accommodation, you don't have to use it. It's your choice, right? The accommodation gives you equal access compared to everyone else, and also despite the said disability. She said, if you like, you can purchase Genie Plus. Yeah. That was said. Yeah. One reason she said she can't wait in long lines is because she has a track that needs to be suctioned when she gets congested. Getting suction in a conventional line isn't what I would feel comfortable with. It's very loud. It's an intrusive process, she said. Getting out of line can also be tricky because she uses a wheelchair. I don't want to run people over. My wheelchair is kind of bulky. I don't want to hurt anyone, of course. And I don't want to have to go through group after group asking them, excuse me, I need to get back to my party. Excuse me. I had to step out to get my track suction out. Did you hear that loud noise? That was me because of my disability. Excuse me. Did you see that's being sucked out of me? Excuse me. That's my cast member, new ride, cast member. This is my disability. This is my. Yeah. Here's another one. Disney World. This is specifically for Disney World. And the title is we have 3 minutes. Don't worry. Getting Dirty Looks. Think about this. Disney World annual pass holder Michelle S. knows how that feels after her kids were offered a return queue instead of a disability access service pass. They were just given a return time for that one individual ride, right? When my daughters got joined up with the rest of us, they felt bad. People gave us dirty looks, and people were being mean to us, and people said that we were cheating. Mom, she recalled that her children were saying. Her last name is being withheld due to safety concerns. Michelle explained all 4 of her adoptive children, ranging in age from 11 to 15, have PTSD from circumstances before joining her family. Additionally, she said her 15-year-old has auditory processing disorder, and we said that could qualify, but yet again, not sure. That's up to the individual that you are being interviewed by, because you can look at somebody and go, you know what? I can tell by the looks of things, you have auditory processing disorder. Yep. Yeah. I can tell just by you just looking at me, you have autism. Yep. You have ADHD. I can tell. And wait a minute, hold on. I'm predicting the future. Type 2. Gotcha. You're hyperactive. Yeah. It says that this individual's 15-year-old has auditory processing disorder, which causes her anxiety and panic attacks. And her 11-year-old has reactive attachment disorder, so she can't go off on her own if she needs to step away. I wish they could give you like the placards, like a little sign you can carry when you're walking past people line, Michelle said. You mentioned something like that.
Yeah.
She also wished that she didn't have to explain her kids' needs at every attraction to a cast member that has no idea. They've never heard the terms reactive attachment disorder because they were adopted and because of whatever happened to them in the past, and that we don't want to have to relive that situation. I mean, it goes on and on.
You're better off just doing the Genie Plus.
Yeah, and are you saying spend more money?
Yeah, apparently so.
On top, okay. Does that mean that there's more magic, less magic? I don't.
About as much magic as in Bob Chapek's pocket.
Very good. So, I mean, and I could go on and on. There's one here talking about setting limits, Disney World, and yet again setting limits even for pass holders. There's no extra bonus for being a Magic Key holder or an annual pass holder at Disneyland or subsequently Walt Disney World, right?
Yeah, it blows my mind that all this is. Disney needs to do better.
They do, but I will say this: there is a call for change. There's a change.org petition that's called the DAS Defenders, and it's calling on Disney to adjust its policies. Disney does always have this option.
How many signatures does that have?
What's that? I haven't looked at it, but we can look. Let's see if it shows up. Yeah, it's got 32,277 signatures, and it needs 35,000 signatures. 55 people have signed it today.
Let's make a call for all of our listeners. Mm-hmm. All 2
and a half, friend.
2.5. Sorry. Mm-hmm. To invite your friends to sign this.
It's heartbreaking, and I will say this. Do you know the ultimate? It's not just the fact that people were abusing the queue time, the return time, the jump the line type situation, abusing the line situation to ride rides and just, have their just free pass to go whatever ride they wanted to. Yeah. Universal Studios made these changes first. they're the ones that made these changes, and Walt Disney World caught wind of that
and followed suit.
And followed suit. And realized we see dollar signs. Yes, it being abused. This is an opportunity for us to make more money.
And if Universal hadn't gotten sued, then we should be good too.
So here we are. Here we are. There's always magic at Walt Disney World, but at the same time, I'm in a different situation. You know, I can experience it I can have the full experience. But yet again, if I'm willing to pay for it. And I'm not trying to say that I'm anti-Disney. I'm not. But in this situation, we're allowed to have an opinion. And like you already said, Disney, do better.
Yeah.
Do better.
That's some crap.
Yep. Did you learn something new about it? Did you know much about that? Or because I know you knew about the changes and how it somewhat had an effect on people.
Yeah.
But did you know the extent?
No.
And how it was broken down in those experiences?
No.
Right?
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think that intellectual disabilities deserve the DAS. I'm not saying that. But I think that there are other disabilities that should also be involved with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for PTSD, autism, the ASD. I mean, all of that deserves it. But I also think that disabilities, as far as like Guillain-Barré, that's more of a sickness to me. But I would think like amputees deserve it. Yeah. That just rubs me the wrong way.
Yep. And then yet again, Disney's going to spin it as, well, you know,
we're doing everything that we're supposed to do.
You can wait to the side. You can you can choose. Now, a wheelchair is a personal mobile device. It is a personal it is basically a choice to use a wheelchair. That is not an accommodation. Okay. Now, that may be medically necessary, and that goes beyond the accommodation because you can choose whether to utilize a wheelchair or not, you know? Yeah. Because when it comes down to it, you can say, well, somebody can carry you, you know? And that's horrible to say, but that's basically the mentality that they're taking. That's the position that they're taking. Oh, you have money? Oh, yes, then you can jump the line. You can have a lightning lane. You can have, you can have all that if you're willing to spend more money, right? So you can have the sun, moon, and stars if you're willing to pay for it. So,
that's crap.
Yeah. Do we care? Absolutely. But you know, it's a whole thing. But friend, I think we have hit the end of our episode. We could continue hashing things out, but I think we've beaten this dead horse enough. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm Disney Dude Abbott, and
I'm Disney Dude Taylor. This has been Disney Dude episode, maybe number 65. We don't know, but this is the DAS episode.
Yeah, it is the DAS debacle. So there we go. All right, man.